Today's Bears breaking news around the hiring of Ryan Poles is presented by Fetch Rewards. Earn points on any receipt from any store or restaurant, and then cash those out for gift cards from Amazon and other stores. Download the app today. Use our link. It really supports the show. Chatsports.com/fetch. Show us that you appreciate our sponsors. Chatsports.com/fetch. Earn those points and get some gift cards. All right, the breaking news of the day, the GM search is over. Exactly 2 weeks after, actually 2 weeks and 1 day after Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy were fired, the Bears have hired a general manager. That is one Ryan Poles from the Kansas City Chiefs. He spent the last year and change as their executive director of player personnel, but we'll kind of outline his career path here in a few minutes. But the news of the day is, which is where we'll start here, is that George McCaskey has his guy. And we saw this kind of coming through the pipeline as he met Poles at O'Hare Airport on Monday night. We saw a video leak out. McCaskey went to go pick him up personally, and we're kind of thinking, okay, like if George McCaskey, a billionaire, is going to an airport to pick him up, he's probably the guy, right? And I'm guessing they talked a little bit last night on Monday and later on into Tuesday, and they said, hey, we like what we've seen. We like what we heard. Your references are good. You were a finalist for the Giants job and the Vikings job. You're our guy. You in? And he said, yeah, I am absolutely in. You see the photo here of those two guys late on Monday night. Shout out to the guy at the airport who clipped this video, by the way. But McCaskey has his guy. I'm guessing Bill Polian signed off on this as well, as he has obviously been heavily involved. And now we await to see who the head coach is. But we'll talk first about a little bit more about who Ryan Poles is, what we can, think we can expect from him as this team's general manager. But first, grade the hire. A, B, C, D, or F. Type your grade down in the comments. How do you guys feel about the hiring of Ryan Poles? I think it's a solid hire. And I want to say it with the caveat of we don't know how these things are going to go, right? Especially with GMs. Typically, you at least have an idea of if a head coach hire is going to be good or bad, or you at least have an indication based on prior success or lack thereof as a coordinator or as a head coach before. But GMs, you just don't really know. I think that Ryan Poles on paper is a good hire. I have a lot of reasons for that. He's been around winning in Kansas City. I feel good about this. Now, it's not an A+. It's not a guy who's been a GM for a decade with another franchise and has had success. But for a guy who hasn't been a GM, I think this resume is pretty solid. So let's talk about more about who Ryan Poles is, what's his background, and what qualified him for this job. So he spent the last 12 years, since 2009, in the Chiefs front office, worked his way up all the way to executive director of player personnel. I like note number 2 here, former college offensive lineman. He's someone who wants to build from the offensive line out. We've seen Kansas City the last couple of years really emphasize that, especially after that Super Bowl last year when their guys got hurt. They really took notice of that and beefed up the O-line this year. And ironically, Ryan Poles was actually a Bears undrafted free agent back in 2008. Never made it as a player, though, so then he shifted into a front office role with Kansas City. We'll tell you kind of his career rise in Kansas City in a moment. But first, I want to tell you guys about the Fetch Rewards app. And guys, we've been pushing this app for a couple of weeks now, and for good reason. I continue to rack up points, and that's what this app does. You get your receipts, you see the display on screen right now, and you scan your receipts. It's very easy. You download the app at chatsports.com/fetch, open up the app, get your piles of receipts right there, scan them, and then boom, you start building up points. And you're probably asking, what, is this just some kind of weird game? No, the more points you get, the larger rewards you're going to be able to receive. You can cash out points for gift cards from places like Amazon, Walmart, Target, tons of restaurants as well. And if you want your morning coffee paid for, Starbucks gift cards are available too. Build up your points. It's free. Just scan your receipt. It takes like 10 seconds. You saw how easy it was on that video. Download the app today, chatsports.com/fetch, and get 3,000 bonus points with our promo code BEARS. Plus, a little bonus for you guys on top of the promo code bonus is for everyone who does this, I'll give you through the end of the day Tuesday. Everybody who downloads the app, chatsports.com/fetch, open the app, screenshot the app. Just open it, boom, screenshot it, and then tag me on Twitter with that screenshot and tag Fetch as well. at Fetch Rewards, at Fetch Rewards. They've got to be in the tweet as well. And for everybody who screenshots and tweets at me, I will follow all of those people back. So you've got, through the end of the day today, I would just do it right now so you don't forget. Steps one more time, chatsports.com/fetch. Take a screenshot once you open the app, and then tweet at me at HGramNFL. Tag Fetch Rewards as well, at Fetch Rewards, and I will follow all of you guys back who do just that. Go support our sponsors and go earn some points. All right, let's take a look at Ryan Poles' rise in Kansas City. Again, started in 2009. His title was Player Personnel Assistant. Who knows what that role was the first year? Kind of clears up after that. 2010 to 16, he was college scouting administrator. Was on the road a lot, taking a look at the guys coming up in the college ranks, Senior Bowl, stuff like that. Helped identify talent again through multiple regimes in Kansas City. 2017, I think this one's important. The director of college scouting. Anybody know who the Chiefs drafted in 2017? Who they traded up from 27 to 10 to go get? Oh, some guy named Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that's all Ryan Poles, but when you're the director of college scouting, I'm going to say he had a pretty big hand in that as well. And then he rose from there, assistant director of player personnel the next 3 years, and then in 2021 and then on into early in 2022, he was the executive director of player personnel. So this is a classic case of working your way up in Kansas City. Yeah, with just one franchise, but under a lot of different general managers. What is your one-word reaction to the hiring of Ryan Poles? I want to hear it from you guys down in the comment section. Your one-word reaction to Ryan Poles being hired. Let me know. I want to hear it from you guys right now on this front. Now, I mentioned that because I've gotten a couple of DMs already of, oh, this is just Ryan Pace 2.0, only with one franchise. Well, James Fox, who does some blogging in the Chicago area, made a good point, and I wanted to bring this note to you, so shout out to James. You can follow him up. You see his handle right there. He's only worked in Kansas City, but it's been under Scott Pioli, John Dorsey, Chris Ballard, Brett Veach, Andy Reid, lots of different names, lots of different philosophies, but a lot of success as well. This isn't Ryan Pace in New Orleans. This is a totally different deal, and I completely agree with him. Now, that doesn't mean Ryan Poles is just going to be a guaranteed home run hire. Again, these GM hires are a true crapshoot. I mean, it's probably about a 50% hit rate, if we're being completely honest. But that's just the reality. That's for any team going through this process. But he is qualified. That is the point I want to make. Ryan Poles is absolutely qualified. You don't become a finalist for 3 jobs if you're not qualified. The Giants had him as a finalist. The Vikings had him as a finalist. And honestly, if the Bears didn't hire him, I think Minnesota would have. And now the Bears have hired him. Ryan Poles is qualified for this job. Make no mistake. And what I really like, too, is, and I know you're going to say, oh, but Matt Nagy. Ryan Poles has been around winning for years. He's been a part of the reason that the Chiefs have been winning for years. And sure, when you have Mahomes, it's a lot easier. Well, he was the scouting college director when they drafted him. I think that counts. Like, they've made a lot of good draft picks. They've been aggressive in trades and in free agency, the Chiefs have. I want that mindset in Chicago because I want a guy who's ready to win and ready to win right away. And I think Ryan Poles is a guy that's going to hit the ground running very, very quickly. Now, subscribe to the channel because now that Ryan Poles is hired, the head coach search is going to start to heat up. So stay tuned on that. We'll talk Jim Caldwell in a second. Subscribe now and don't miss any of our coverage. We will have you guys covered every single day. Possibly multiple videos a day, depending on what news and rumors shake out. Don't miss any of our coverage. We'll have you covered. Okay, couple notes, then we'll get to Jim Caldwell. Brad Biggs tweeted this yesterday. Obviously, a GM's been hired now, but indications that George McCaskey will hire a GM first before the head coach search. Getting the GM first was critical. I mean, this is just what had to happen for a couple reasons. One, when your chairman, George McCaskey, admits he's not a football evaluator, then even with Bill Polian in the building, you got to get a GM first. Like, you can't, hey, I'm just a fan, but I'm going to hire a coach. Like that, you can't sell that to your fan base. So getting the GM first was very, very important. And now what I want to see happen is Ryan Poles sit down with George McCaskey, sit down with Bill Polian, Ted Phillips, whoever's in that room and say, hey, this is my plan. for the coaching search. These are the guys I like. These are the guys I want to interview. I may have guys that you guys haven't even interviewed yet, but I want to interview those guys. And maybe one of those guys is Jim Caldwell, who is also at Hallis Hall today. According to Adam Schefter, former Lions and Colts head coach Jim Caldwell is in the Bears building today. Matching the experience Caldwell with the upstart polls is a game plan that some around the league now believe the Bears could easily deploy. I would much rather have Caldwell as an offensive coordinator, but I wouldn't hate it as a head coach. We'll ask you guys, would you like the hire of Jim Caldwell? Type L for like, type D for dislike. Let me know down in the comment section, and I'll give some more thoughts on the possibility of this in just a moment. Couple thoughts. Number one, no more arranged marriages. If this is one of Poles' guys, cool, I'm in. But if this is Bill Polian saying, hey, Ryan, congrats on earning the job, but I want you to make Jim Caldwell a priority. That I do not like. That is not something that I can get on board with. But what I want to see now is Ryan Poles interview guys he likes. That is what I want to see happen. As far as Caldwell, if he is the guy, what does he bring to the table? He's taken a team to the Super Bowl on the Colts. Yes, he had Peyton Manning. I'm well aware of that. Also, he had 2 winning seasons with Detroit, 2 or 3. Either way, they were very competitive when he was there, and they've been a joke since. I think that matters. He knows this division. We always make fun of the Lions. Well, you know who weren't a joke when Jim Caldwell was a head coach? The Lions. So I think that is something to consider. He's not my top guy, but would I absolutely hate it? No, I would not. I would not hate the hire of Jim Caldwell. So things are happening. Things are heating up. Please subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss any of our coverage here on Chicago Bears. Now, let's wrap it up with this. Should Ryan Poles be the next Bear, or pick the next Bears head coach? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. He should not be the next head coach, but he should pick the next head coach. Type 1 if you agree with me, type 2 if you disagree.